What should a new hairstylist look for when renting a booth at a hair salon?
A new stylist basically wants clients because most stylists fresh out of school don't have a clientele yet. What they want to look for really is a location that's booming. You know, a lot of people in and out so that they can showcase their skills. And that's usually how you get new clients. If you go to a low key, out of the mainstream location that doesn't have a lot of foot traffic, a lot of visibility, then it's going to be very difficult for a new stylist to build that clientele base. So pretty much you want somewhere that's not only, busy for the aspect that you can get new clients, but also that's how you hone your skills too, being around more experienced stylists. So I would say definitely get in a location that has a lot of experienced stylists, a lot of foot traffic, just a lot of clientele there, period. And then also look for the owner or the other stylist to be willing to share. I mean, you don't want to be in an environment where if you do happen to take one of their clients, that creates a problem. So you want to be in a place where the owner is willing to, help you develop your clientele base, willing to share some of their clients and their skills.
What are some of the basic marketing approaches to on a budget?
Well, pretty much the budget will be determined by your marketing plan, and I strongly suggest that anybody who needs clients and relies on clients for business revenue have some sort of marketing plan. And then based on your marketing plan, whether you're going to do flyers or cards or if you're going to do a video shoot, fashion shows, hair shows, that would then dictate the amount of money you need for your budget. And of course, flyers are the cheapest way to advertise, but are they most effective way? And so again, it depends on who you're targeting. Flyers to me are a more low-end, kind of mass type of advertising, and it doesn't lend itself to every type of business. If you consider yourself to be a more upscale, exclusive hairstylist or nail technician, then you probably would not use flyers. You may go for one of the other types of advertising, maybe a video or some type of web presence. So we suggest strongly that you look at all your options and then price them out and then come up with a budget instead of doing it backwards, setting a budget and then seeing what you could do with it.
What kind of insurance would they consider as a booth renter?
As a booth renter, you definitely want to have the liability insurance, and that protects you against any possible lawsuit if you do something incorrectly and cause harm or danger to somebody, one of your clients. If you have a lot of personal equipment, you may want to ensure that, get casualty insurance, but it's not really necessary. Usually if you're just a booth renter, you own, your own personal equipment, but that's it. So it's really not necessary, but definitely I suggest the liability insurance.
What concerns should he or she have about taxes as a 1099 worker?
Okay. Very good question, because a lot of times people don't realize that as a independent, hairstylist, nail technician, you are not an employee of anybody. So there's nobody paying your federal, Medicare tax, your FICA, and those are taxes pretty much that you're required to pay whether you're an employee or if you're self-employed. And those are pretty much the taxes that come into play when you retire. So as an individual, you want those taxes taken out because that pays for your federal Medicare, which is your insurance when you retire, and it also provides your Social Security benefits when you retire. As a self-employed person, you are responsible for the entire portion of that, and it's 15% of whatever you bring in less your expenses. So that kind of brings to importance of bookkeeping. So not only do you need to keep up with all your revenues, but also all legitimate expenses, including any travel expenses, any insurance, and then of course your supplies and equipment. And then the difference between that pretty much is your net profit, and that amount is subject to taxes. And you as a self-employed person have to submit those taxes to the federal government at least once a year. And if you don't, you could be penalized, and they can make you submit it even more often. So it's not only required by law, but I strongly suggest it because, like anybody else, one day you will retire, and you will want to have that pool of money for retirement.
What are some basic ideas for marketing their services?
Well, when I think about some of the more traditional ways of marketing, pretty much you want to get people out there with your hairstyles, because a lot of times, when you think about how you pick a hairstylist or a nail technician, you ask somebody, who did your hair. Hair shows are a good way, fashion shows, anything visual. Now they have these bigger postcards, the 5-color postcards. You can have pictures and all kind of visuals on there, and the cost has come down where it's affordable. So I think anytime you can put a visual out there where somebody can see exactly what you're capable of doing, that attracts the person's attention. And right now, like I said, the cost has come down to the point that these things are affordable even to the new stylists. So anything visual, websites, 5-color postcards, hair shows, fashion shows, just get your hairstyles out there, because a lot of it's going to become word of mouth. Like the more people you get who are out there with your hairstyles, probably the more clients you get just from a referral base.
What are some legal concerns that they can consider?
Well, as independents, pretty much they're considered to be sole proprietors unless you incorporate or become a partnership. Now, one person cannot become a partnership, but one person can incorporate. And so the legal thing becomes like, if I was to sue somebody for doing my hair, and say my hair fell out and I want to sue you, well, if you're a sole proprietor and I want a lawsuit, I could basically, depending on what I was awarded, I could take your home, your car, whatever you owned. If you are incorporated, well, you've kind of created this shield where I can only take what the corporation owns, because the corporation is the one that harmed me. So as an individual contractor, you may not want to incorporate, but as soon as you step out there and own a shop and you start to acquire more assets, you definitely want to look into incorporating or a limited liability company for the purposes of protecting your assets.